here, Huddle Up Podcast. You can, as always, subscribe to the show on Twitter at Huddle Up Podcast, Facebook.com/Huddle Up Podcast. Subscribe on all podcast platforms, YouTube as well. Hit the link tree in our social media bios for all of the links and everything and merchandise related to the Huddle Up Podcast. This is a new concept for the feed. This is something that I've been thinking about doing, and I'm actually executing it now. And it's something that I'm probably going to try to do every week, at least while we are doing live shows during the football season. And because, we go live on Tuesday nights, and then we're off until the following Tuesday. Obviously, we have a whole week off in between, and a lot goes on, not just in football. So the original concept of my show, for those who haven't been with me for the 9 years I've been podcasting now, I started the show as a sports talk show covering all sports, all things, and it has branched off into a pro wrestling podcast, a podcast I do about anything that's not sports or wrestling related, and then this, which has really morphed into a primarily football podcast. We go live during the football season each week. And then this past year, we kind of experimented with some quote unquote off season episodes where we covered a lot of different topics in and around sports, not just football. But during the football season, there's still other sports going on: baseball, basketball, hockey, other things in football that we don't get to cover. And honestly, just some more thoughts that are in my head that aren't related to what we talk about and cover and predict on the weekly Huddle Up Podcast shows. So these observation shows, reaction shows, rambling thoughts of a sports radio host, sports podcast host, whatever we want to call them. That's what this is going to be. And like I said, I'm going to try to do these weekly, sometime over the weekend as the mood strikes. Sometimes it'll be like today. I'm recording this Saturday night after the day of college football and game 2 of the World Series, which I'll touch on during the observations. But I just wanted to give this a little bit of an intro here, and what the feed is and what I plan to do with it, and the addition to this is like a bonus to our weekly live video shows. This is audio only, and just a. It's just a little bit more. It's a little bit more for me to kind of get off my chest and just a little bit of a different format than our weekly shows. So if you enjoy it, I sincerely hope you share it with somebody and encourage them to do the same. And this does not change. We will still continue to be live each and every Tuesday night on our feed. But let's get to it. All right, so the first thing on my mind this week is the news of Tom Brady's divorce. Went official, went final a couple weeks ago or a month ago. I kind of lose track of time, but the reports that they were meeting with divorce attorneys. So the finalization, I don't think to me, wasn't shocking. A lot of people were reacting to it like, "Oh my God, they're getting divorced." Well, we knew that. We basically knew that that it was headed that way. They were meeting with divorce lawyers, but I guess this week it is finalized. And I saw a couple of tweets from people that I follow and people in sports media and media in general. And we're like, "Oh man, we're witnessing Tom Brady's life crumble before our eyes." And I went, "Okay, can we just slow the car down, pull it to the side, collect our thoughts here?" Look, I'm not saying that the divorce and everything that Tom Brady's family is going through is not sad for him and his family, for him and Giselle and their kids and their extended families. That's not what I'm saying. I'm sure it is no matter how rich and famous and how much money you have, when a marriage ends in divorce, I'm like it's got to be hard. Absolutely. Remember, no matter who they are, these Tom Brady, Giselle, they are both human beings. Okay. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not sad for them, for their families, for fans of theirs on both sides. But my, tap the brakes comment is we're not seeing Tom Brady's life collapse before our eyes. Okay. Yes, this season, right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-5. They have not had a good start to the season. Tom Brady has looked average, which when you're talking about arguably, the greatest quarterback of all time, looking average is not what we're used to seeing. But like in any sport, including pro wrestling, yes, it's sports entertainment, but also sport. There is one person that is undefeated, and that's Father Time. So are we seeing the end of Tom Brady's career because he just can't do it anymore? Or are we seeing the end of Tom Brady's career because of all the, are we seeing this decline because of all the things going on in his personal life? Probably a little bit of both. Is it sad to see the end of a career this great go down the way it is? Sure. Should Tom Brady have stayed retired? No. If Tom Brady didn't want to retire or didn't want to stay retired, then that's his prerogative. You don't like it, that's fine. I've never been a fan of guys retiring and unretiring and retiring and unretiring. It's not my thing. I didn't even like it when Jason Witten, my favorite Dallas Cowboy of all time, did it. So it's not an attack on Brady or anybody else. But if he didn't want to retire or he decided he would change his mind, that's his prerogative. Doesn't look great. Can he recover? Is now that the divorce is final, is his head going to be clear and he can focus more on football? We'll see. We'll see. It's nothing, they already played. They already lost this week to Baltimore on Thursday Night Football, so we'll have to wait another week to find out. But Tom Brady's life is not crumbling before our eyes. Look, he's again, is it sad? Sure. I'll give him that. I'll give you that. Absolutely. Is it got to be hard for him, a human being, to go through this, him and his wife and his family? Absolutely. I'm not taking that away. However, he's a multimillionaire, 6-time Super Bowl champion, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, tons of sponsorship, has his own clothing line, has played in those celebrity golf matches on TNT, the for charity multiple times. He is a tremendous athlete with supermodel good looks, and he has an analyst gig at Fox whenever he does actually retire from active playing. Tom Brady is going to land on his feet. Tom Brady is going to be fine. He has been in a high profile relationship before Giselle, and he will probably be in one after Giselle. I think Tom Brady will be fine. We are not watching his life crumble before our eyes. We are watching the end of a public marriage with two celebrities. It is sad absolutely for them, for fans of theirs, for their kids, for their extended families, 100%. But just let's tap the brakes on the overreaction to the Tom and Giselle news. Speaking of overreactions, changing gears here to the National Hockey League, we're a couple weeks into the season, and some of my favorite overreactions. Now I'm a Washington Capitals fan, so it has to, and I live in Pennsylvania, so the biggest observations I have seen. There was an article my brother shared with me, or a clip from like the NHL Power Rankings, I think from NBC Sports, he said. And it had the Flyers above the Capitals, which honestly, to this point so far, I can't argue with. the Capitals have had a slow start. The Flyers have had far beyond expectations, even in the early going. So I can't argue with it. I'm not 100% sold that Ernest DJ Christian of the Huddle Up podcast, bing, did not write these power rankings because he was the power rankings that I saw had John Tortorella, the new head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, named as could potentially be a Jack Adams Coach of the Year winner based on like 4 games. Again, Flyers absolutely have exceeded expectations so far, and to me this isn't 100% surprising. Because I've told friends of mine who are Flyers fans that when they hired John Tortorella, were not happy about it. I said, look, John Tortorella is an asshole. There's no other way to put it. Okay? He's an asshole. But, and here's the caveat, he knows how to get the best out of his players. He took the Tampa Bay Lightning to a Stanley Cup. He took the Columbus Blue Jackets to multiple playoffs. Playoffs? I'm talking about playoffs. Yeah, John Tortorella took the Columbus Blue Jackets to the playoffs. He's a great coach. He's an asshole, but he's a great coach. There's a lot of great coaches who are also assholes. That's not news. So, but a coach of the year after 4 games? Overreaction. Another overreaction from this power ranking was that the Washington Capitals, who are out to a slow start, that Alex Ovechkin has, quote, lost his touch. He's 37, okay? He's 37. Tonight he had an empty net goal, his 4th goal of the year. He's at .784 for the season. The Caps have a lot of new faces on their team. They're also missing Tom Wilson, who was a top-line right winger. They're missing Nicholas Backstrom, who has been Alex Ovechkin's right-hand man for basically his entire career. Okay. So it's a rough start. But to declare Ovechkin's lost his touch, calm down. He scored 50 goals last year at 36 years old. Okay? Let's tap the brakes on a couple of games into the season on a guy losing his touch. This is a couple days ago. So right now, Philadelphia Flyers still sitting on top of the Metropolitan Division, 5-2-1. They're sitting at 11 points. They're tied with the Carolina Hurricanes as of right now. Right behind them, though, is a 4-way tie for second. The New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders, the New York Rangers. Oh, and those lost their touch Washington Capitals, all sitting at 10 points. Okay, 5-4-0. Well, they're Washington Capitals. So maybe same number of wins as the Philadelphia Flyers. Maybe let's chill a bit on Ovechkin losing his touch. Okay, Darcy Kemper had his first shutout of the season. New Capitals goaltender. Both Capitals goaltenders are new. We talked about this on the NHL preview. Myself and Mike Bernier. You can check that out in the archives on the Huddle Up podcast feed. But yeah, look, and this kind of goes along with my next observation. Okay, these long season sports, hockey, basketball, baseball, you can react to what you've seen in the early going in the first couple games. Things are interesting. Things may be unexpected out of the gate. That's fine. Of course we're going to react to it. That's what we do. Twitter, Facebook, social media of any kind, YouTube, podcasts, radio shows, TV shows, new articles, all of it. All the content around sports, it's a reaction to what we're seeing. It's fine. Reactions are fine. But like no long season sport that has a season that is over, a playoffs hopes dashed, surprising team is a playoff contender 3 games out of 162. This team was supposed to compete for the NBA title. They're dead after a week. This team was supposed to be a playoff contender. They're 0-4. They're done. Sell it off. Get rid of. Move the Stars to a team that has the chance. No, come on. And look, I'm being overly dramatic. I don't know that I saw anybody say that Alex Ovechkin should be traded to a contender because the Caps had a slow start. Okay, nothing like that. But like, let's be honest. Look, technically speaking, I get it. If a team finishes 1 game out of first place or 1 game out of a playoff spot, and you lost a game on night 1 of this season, had that game gone the other way, would you be in the playoffs? Technically speaking, sure. But in reality, like, the games at the start of the season are not what makes and breaks a year. It's that 3-week slump in the middle of the year. It's that game where you throw a bad curveball with 2 weeks left to play and you give up a walk-off home run. It's that time where you whiff on a shot and the opponent comes back the other way on a breakaway and beats your goaltender to beat you in overtime. With 2 games left, and that's the backbreaker. Those are truly the games that cost the season. It's not the games early on, because I compare it to golf, because I'm a golfer. I love par 4s and par 5s. I hate par 3s. Because a par 3, if you hit a bad tee shot, you are most likely not going to par that hole. Because if you hit a bad tee shot, now you have to hit a good or great second shot to put yourself in a position to sink the par putt. On a par 4 or a par 5, you hit a bad tee shot, okay, give me a hybrid. Give me a long iron. I'm going to be able to get down, closer to a wedge shot to get in and make that birdie or par. I'm going to be able to recover on a longer hole than I am on a par 3. So in the NFL, if you have an 0-2 start, that might break your season. If you go 1-3 in the first month of the year, that might break your season. Because you only have 17 games, and I'm glad I remembered 17 because the NFL is uneven now. Thanks, Roger Goodell. Make it 18, go back to 16. Please. I need symmetry in my football. But in reality, I mean, look for prime example, and it's in college, but prime example, Notre Dame this year. They lost to Ohio State. They came in the year, pre-ranked 5, 6? I think it was 5. Way too high. Obviously, we see this now. But they started the year, they lost at Ohio State. No big deal. Ohio State's ranked 2nd in the country. You can recover from this. Week 2, you lose to Marshall. Done. Season, in terms of college football playoff, over. If the Golden State Warriors come out of the gate 1-5, they can still recover. Hit a great recovery shot in the month of November, you're back. Okay? No, nothing is panic worthy in long-term season sports in the first week or 2. It just isn't. These games matter less. To me, that's not, I get it's an opinion, but to me, it's not debatable. Games at the end of a season matter more than the games at the start. So like in hockey, games in late February, March, and early April matter more than games in October. In baseball, games in September matter more than games in early May. They just do. Because there's a smaller window for things to change. You know, most things are already set. When you get to a September and mid-September, teams are clinching. Playoff spots are going away. Magic numbers start to appear. What's your magic number in baseball in the third week of the season? What's your magic number in the NHL or the NBA in October? There isn't one. Because everybody has the biggest magic number. Because there's 80 games in front of you, or 70 games in front of you, or 65 games in front of you. Okay? Do they matter? Yes. Do they ultimately make or break a season? They do not. No matter how close a league is, because every team is going to have waves of greatness, and every team is going to have times where they struggle. Speaking of struggling, and let's go back to the NFL. We talk about it every week on the live Huddle Up shows. That every week we think, is this the week where I'm going to learn something? No, we're in week 8. We still don't know anything, but a lot of that, I think, is derived on preseason expectations, preseason predictions, preseason thoughts. Okay, preseason, the Giants were going to be one of the worst teams. Preseason, the Seattle Seahawks were going to be one of the worst teams. Preseason, the Atlanta Falcons, a.k.a. Fraud Cons, we're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. The New York Jets, we're going to be lucky to win a game or two. Okay? The Denver Broncos. Oh, the Denver Broncos. Thanks, Homer. We're going to compete for the AFC West. Well, they are competing for the AFC West. The basement of the AFC West. They're competing for the basement of the NFL power rankings. Okay? The Green Bay Packers were going to be kings of the North again. The Detroit Lions were going to be frisky. There you go, EJ. That one's for you, my friend. I had the Lions going to the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, I know, Jim Mora. Thank you. The Lions are not going to the playoffs. At this point, they would be lucky to win a damn game. So maybe we need to forget what we thought we knew and start to react to what we know in front of us. Okay? Again, do I think the New York Giants bubble is going to burst? I do. But with every week and they keep winning, maybe it won't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Geno Smith is better than Russell Wilson. No, I'm not going there. However, what I am saying is maybe, and I hate giving credit to this guy, but maybe Pete Carroll's system in Seattle is set up for success for quarterbacks. I'm not saying Russell Wilson is a quote-unquote system quarterback. I'm not going down that road. However, Russ ain't cooking in Denver. Geno's cooking the leftovers in Seattle. That's all I'm saying. And Geno Smith this year looks like the better quarterback. Seattle is winning this situation right now. You know, Atlanta, yeah, I get it. They're 3-4, sitting atop of the AFC South. And I've been saying for weeks on my Twitter at Big Jim Sports, bing, is maybe we need to start having a real conversation about the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not the conversation about them not winning their division. Let's start having the real conversation about the Green Bay Packers and say the Aaron Rodgers quarterbacked Green Bay Packers and the Tom Brady quarterbacked Tampa Bay Buccaneers not making the NFL playoffs. Playoffs? Thanks, Jim. Mora, not me. But we know that already. Because those two situations are very real. With every passing week that the Packers don't figure it out, that the Buccaneers don't figure it out, they get one step closer. Again, smaller window, right? The NFL season's a par 3. Going back to our last observation, our last topic. The NFL season's a par 3. Those other sports are par 4s and 5s. So maybe NBA, NHL, those are par 4s. Baseball's a par 5. Okay? Golfers, still with me. Everybody else going, Jim, what the hell are you talking about? Trust me. Trust me. So the Buccaneers, the Bucks and the Packers may not make it. Okay? The Patriots might not make it. The Jets might be a playoff team this year. Playoffs. I'm not going there again. Like, we need to start, at least for this year. I don't know if this is big picture stuff. I don't know if the Falcons are turning into something, if the Bucks are falling apart, if this is the end of the Packers dynasty. Dear God, would I be happy to see the Packers go away for a while. They've hurt me the way Tom Brady and the Patriots hurt a lot of teams. The Packers have hurt me as a Cowboys fan too many times. I'll be happy to see that team go away for a while. But we're at the point. Next week is week 9, the midway point of the NFL season. We need to start realizing that the things we're seeing in the NFL this year are the things that we're seeing week to week. That this year, Seattle might be good. Are they better than the Rams, who they're currently sitting ahead of? I don't think so. Are they better than the Niners? I don't think so. But the Niners got to start figuring out. The Rams have to get healthy and figure it out. The Rams have a small window because they have an aging quarterback. The 49ers don't have a quarterback. Seattle doesn't have a long-term quarterback. Geno Smith is not a long-term option. I also don't think Pete Carroll's a long-term coach anymore. But for this year, maybe it works. For this year, because of everything going on around them, maybe the Atlanta Falcons are a division winner. Worst division in football, yeah. Although the AFC South might have something to say about that. But overall, NFC South is the worst right now. It's closer than we might think. But we need to start realizing that the things we're being told in front of our eyes are possibly real. Fifth observation. World Series. Game 2 was tonight. Technically last night, as I passed the midnight hour here. Series is tied 1-1. The Phillies had an incredible comeback in Game 1. They were down 5. They won 6, 5, and 10 innings. Tonight, not so much. Was the final ended up being 5-1. I actually have to look at it, because I'm trying to block it out of my mind already. 5-2. Series even. Incredible comeback in Game 1. What an absolute blast. I mean, you start that game, it's like, man, this series could not have started worse for Philadelphia. Down 5, Verlander's cooking. Nola doesn't look great. He's gotten rocked in 3 innings. And then all of a sudden it turns. Phillies get back, tie it up. Castellanos makes an incredible catch in the 9th to keep that game alive. Real Muto in the 10th, the home run. Shut the Astros down the bottom 10. Phillies get an incredible victory. Some of the stats regarding the Phillies comeback was spectacular. Tonight, bad start, couldn't recover from it. Go back to Philly. There were some reports of illegal bats being used by one of the Astros players. There was people calling into question like spin rates and things as the Astros pitcher kept like touching his cheek, rubbing his hand. Look, I'm not saying the Astros are cheating. Okay? I'm not. However, anytime you see stuff like that, hell, I even saw the fact that the Astros bats were alive immediately in the start of tonight's game. Immediately, people were like, it's weird how they almost seem like they know what pitches are coming. And I saw some Astros fans like whining, like, oh, you can't bring up the, you're always calling us cheaters. Because you were literal cheaters, okay? You don't get the shadow of a doubt anymore. You don't get to sit there and play innocent anymore. You were caught cheating. And your organization was barely punished by baseball. Practically unpunished. So I don't want to hear it from Astros fans who are mad that people are accusing them of possibly going through this series not clean. I'm not saying they're cheating. I'm just saying that if people want to call things into question, if they have evidence, I think baseball should look at it, see it through. But enough of that. I don't want to go down the conspiracy road. I don't. Next 3 games are in Philly. Okay. Series tied 1-1. Phillies still right now have a chance to win the next 3, clinch it at home, and start the parade and start the celebration in South Philly at Citizens Bank Park. I don't think either team is winning the next 3 games. But what I do think is that the next 3 games are obviously more critical to Philadelphia. Remember we were talking about that par 3, par 4, par 5 stuff? We're in par 3 territory here, big time. I think it's critical for the Phillies to take at least 2 of the next 3 if they want to win this series. If you need to go back to Houston and win both, I think you've put yourself in a real bad spot. So if you can obviously take 3, take the whole thing at home, absolutely, that'd be great. But I think 2 out of 3 to go back to Houston, only have to win 1 of the 2. That's doable. You're in big trouble, I think, if you go back to Houston having to win both. Now, I've been talking from the intro through all of this that these bonus observation shows are going to be 5 observations. I lied for this one. I'm going to give a little bonus. I'm going to give a bonus to the bonus. Was it a PSS to the PS? If you're writing a letter. Notre Dame today beat Syracuse, the number 16 team in the country. Now, much like their win over number 16 BYU a few weeks ago, do I think that Syracuse is the number 16 team in the country? I do not. That's neither here nor there. Beat the number 16 team in the country, Syracuse, 41-24 today. On the road. Another big road win for Notre Dame. Their inconsistency. I get it. First-year head coach. First-time head coach. But the inconsistency is so frustrating. They started the year at Ohio State. Lost a close one. That's fine. Next week, you lose to Marshall at home. That's bad. Start the year 0-2. You come back. You beat Cal. You beat North Carolina on the road. You travel to Las Vegas for the Shamrock Series game, stay undefeated by beating number 16 at the time, BYU. You get a week off. You come home. Lose to one-win Stanford team. Now you have 2 bad losses at home. You come out now, you go on the road. It's Carrier Dome, tough place to play. It's done weird things to better teams. And you pound the ball, hundreds of yards rushing, 41-24 win. The inconsistency is maddening. But I was talking to a friend of mine, Jordan, and he was like, look, you're going to have these bumps in the road. It's first-year head coach. Got to be patient. Yeah, you're right. I got used to winning 10 games. I mean, look, I'm sure this Tuesday on Huddle Up, on the live show, we're going to talk about LSU and Alabama coming up next week, and I'll have a chance to vent about Brian Kelly. But I got used to winning 10 games. I mean, 4 straight 10-win seasons. No other coach besides Brian Kelly has ever done that at Notre Dame. Fact. You know, so I got to remind myself to be a little bit more patient with Notre Dame. I trust Marcus Freeman. This team has shown signs of greatness this year. They've shown signs of the complete opposite. But I got to cling to the good signs and hope for the future. But yeah, it's now they have Clemson, and I laughed my ass off during the Michigan game. Todd Blackledge, color commentator in the Michigan game, said that they were looking at the schedules and teams, because the first college football playoff rankings come out this coming Tuesday. We're going to have a live reaction to them when they come out this week on Huddle Up Live. But Todd Blackledge said something along the lines of number 5 for Clemson, because I think he had them as his number 5. Number 5 Clemson is going to have a hard test at Notre Dame next week. What? A hard test? Notre Dame has lost to Marshall and Stanford at Notre Dame Stadium this year. I love the Irish. I love Notre Dame. But to call Clemson going into Notre Dame a hard test this year. Now, granted, the last time Clemson came to Notre Dame won during the COVID season. Number 3 in the country versus number 1 in the country. Can lightning strike twice? I sure hope so. I hate Dabo Swinney. I hate Clemson. I don't see it happening, though. Clemson's a better team. They are the better team, period. But as Coach Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. We'll see what happens next week. I'm not holding my breath. I'm actually going to be at a concert with my stepdad. I'm not even going to see the game live. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. We'll see. But Todd Blackledge, thank you for the laugh on a Saturday night. But that's going to do it for this, the first of this bonus observation podcast. Just again, thoughts in my head as the week goes on. I'm gonna, like I said in the intro, going to try to do these as we go. Hopefully every weekend here moving forward, at least during football season, as we do these live shows, to keep the content out there. But make sure you are subscribed. If you are not subscribed to the show, if you're checking us out for the first time, I appreciate that. Please hit the subscribe button on any and all podcast platforms that you are part of. Head to the link tree in our social media, that is at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. The link tree is there. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscribe to the podcast, and also check out our merchandise over at tpublic.com. We dropped another Phillies related design this week, so there's a couple of those. There's some to match a lot of the different sports teams and more, so check it out. 30 plus great designs. And if you have feedback on the show, let us know. Rate and review on the podcast platform that you do so choose to subscribe to us on. And if you enjoy the show, please, I ask this every week, or I try to, share the show with at least one person that you think might enjoy it, and encourage them to do the same. Until Tuesday night when we talk to you live, I hope you stay safe. You have a great rest of your week, and have a great Halloween on Monday if you are listening to this before then. Otherwise, I hope you have a great Arbor Day or Thanksgiving or Christmas or whenever you come across this episode. And until we talk to you again, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the win.